In this video, I want to review some of the high points of the syllabus. I'm certainly not going to read it all to you, but I do want to identify a couple things that are particularly important and sometimes students miss. Under the particularly important category would be the time allotment, how you can expect to spend your time in this abbreviated semester. So if you have looked at the schedule, and we'll do that in a little bit in this video, but you'll see that every week you have several graded assignments that are due. Each week you do have a quiz. Now these are open book, open note quizzes, but they're timed, so you need to be familiar with the material. And then also each week you will have typically 2 additional graded activities, and quite often they are going to be interactive, where you are communicating not just with me, but also with some of the other students who are in your group. And so on average, you can expect to spend about 5 hours a week doing these collaborative writing activities. You will also be supporting your education. Not only are you going to be reading, of course, but there are also some really great videos that I have selected for you to read. And then there are also some, I think, really worthwhile and thought-provoking readings from the internet that you'll be reading. In addition to that, there is also a presentation that you will be creating for your peers. You'll be using the wiki function of Blackboard. And I do have some resources available, other video, to help you better understand how to use the wiki function. In addition to that, there's a project that we'll be doing, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. You have my contact information here, course outcomes, the textbook. It is important that you have the current textbook because there are some pretty important updates between the last version and this version. So I strongly recommend that you have the correct textbook. I also want to make sure that because this is an online course, it is really important, and it's a very fast-paced online course, it is really important that you be familiar with these technology requirements. I think it's worth mentioning that things happen. Internet goes down, computer goes down. It is very important that we all have a backup plan for our internet access, as well as a backup plan in case our computers crash. And I say our because certainly I run the risk of this as well. So if you are in a place that does not have reliable Wi-Fi, I encourage you to find the nearest Starbucks or McDonald's or Panera Bread or library, someplace where you can access Wi-Fi in case your home is not reliable. I also really recommend that you all save your work to somewhere on the cloud. Now, you can either use your college account or you can use an online service like Dropbox. That's what I use. So quite frankly, when I do all my work at a coffee shop and I walk away, if my computer is stolen, that's going to be really crummy, but I don't lose all of my work because every single thing is saved on the cloud. It's saved on the Dropbox. And I've had several students have computer crashes, or at least that's what they tell me, in the middle of the semester that have wreaked havoc on their success in the course. So definitely have a backup plan. That's a take-home message from this video. Have a backup plan. I also encourage you to just check to make sure that your computer, that your browser is compatible with Blackboard. And I do recommend that you use Google Chrome as your browser as opposed to Internet Explorer. It looks like that if you're taking quizzes, it works better in Google Chrome than in other things. All right, another thing that certainly you're probably curious about are the various ways that your performance in the course is going to be evaluated. Now, because we all learn in different ways, and there are a variety of ways to demonstrate your knowledge, you will be submitting a number of different types of assignments, and I already mentioned these a little bit, so I'm not going to address this too deeply. I will draw your attention to the fact that there are several things in this course that you can upload to the Chalk and Wire portfolio if you wish. It's not required, but if you would like to satisfy either the written communication or the scientific reasoning component of your course, of your portfolio, you can, and I'll talk towards the end of the semester about how you can go about doing that. All right, another thing that I really want to emphasize to everyone is the importance of composing your work in Word or something like Word before actually putting up on a discussion board or a wiki or a journal. The great thing about this is if you have some kind of technical glitch, it's saved. If you are somebody who okay, let's face it, we all make spelling errors, we all make typos. The great thing about composing something in Word is you can do that spell check, that grammar check. You can do a word count because most of the assignments have an expected word count. So I really encourage you, strongly encourage you, to compose your material in a word processing software and then paste it into Blackboard. Let's see. Another thing that I should emphasize to you is that if you do have a question about the course, I'm certainly happy to answer questions, but I urge you to first review the syllabus and check the announcements, and I'll also show you what I mean by this course information discussion board before you ask me a question, because quite often answers are already published out there. All right. In terms of policies, the one thing I want to draw your attention to here is attendance. Obviously, this is online, so you're not attending a course, but you show your attendance by being present online. Typically, it's set up so that each week you have one assignment that's due by usually Thursday night, and then other assignments that are due by Sunday night. And so this necessitates really that you log in at least twice to the Blackboard course. Also, there's the issue of late work. Now, I recognize that we are all busy people. It's summertime. There are a number of demands on your life. There are things that come up that are unexpected. And so if there is some type of emergency that prevents you from submitting the work on time, I can be flexible, but I need you to communicate with me in as timely a fashion as possible with some ideas on how you might be able to make up for work. In general, though, I am not going to be accepting late work. It just creates a lot of chaos, and so much of what we're doing is collaborative. So if you're late, you're not able to engage with your peers and get the full learning experience. Another big thing here is the issue of academic dishonesty. So all of your exams, your quizzes are completed online. They're open book and open note. All right. However, they are not to be completed with a partner or somebody else in this class. They're not to be completed with your child or your boyfriend or your wife. So when I see work completed on the quizzes, I'm expecting that it is your unique contribution. The same thing goes for the papers that you are writing and the presentation that you are doing on the wiki. It is absolutely paramount that if you get information from a source, that you cite that source. If you are quoting somebody directly, absolutely you need to be putting that into quotes. And if you are closely summarizing multiple sentences, you're engaging in something that's known as patch writing, kind of like a tire patch writing, and that is also plagiarism and it really should be avoided. Put things into your own words. I have a resource online if you are not sure if you're engaging in plagiarism or what counts as plagiarism. I found a really great resource that's a tutorial and a little quiz that you can complete. It's not required, but encouraged. All right, I think it's also worthwhile to be familiar with some of the available supports that the college has for students. I'm a big fan of the Center for Learner Success office. The people that work there are incredibly kind, easy to work with, very friendly, and really a wonderful advocate for students. A wonderful advocate for any student, but particularly if you are struggling with some type of issue, maybe at home, any health or mental health issues, and you really need an advocate. These are your people. Definitely contact Matthew or Joanne or Elizabeth at the Center for Learner Success. They are really fantastic advocates for students. If you are somebody who's struggling with test taking, note taking, time management, stress management, any of those things, the people in the Center for Learner Success are really wonderful resources. I also would draw your attention if you do need any kind of special accommodations for test taking, note taking, vision, you want to reach out to Teresa Freeman over in Student Health as soon as possible before the summer semester begins, so that she can work with you on addressing any kind of special accommodations that you need. Now, recognizing that nursing school and healthcare is something that is very stressful, and we are in a stressful accelerated semester. If you find that things are getting a little bit out of control, you're maybe feeling a little hopeless, you're feeling helpless, you're feeling anxious, you're starting to wonder if maybe there's some signs of addiction in your own life or in the life of a loved one, I strongly encourage you to reach out to this Quest Behavioral Health. This phone number is answered by a live person. You'll not be directed to, press this, press that. And this is somebody that can help you identify a counselor in your area. If you live in Maryland, they'll find you somebody in your neighborhood in Maryland. And Quest handles the insurance, at least for the first 3 sessions. So it's free for the first 3 sessions. And I just think this is a really important thing to be aware of. All right, the remainder of the syllabus goes over the various methods of evaluation, and I'm going to address these in the second video that I create on how to use the Blackboard. And I certainly encourage you to read over these. I want you to be familiar with the details, but I will address the most important details in the Blackboard tour video that I'm going to create now. So I encourage you to review the syllabus, check in with me as questions arise, and I certainly look forward to a great semester.